Get it? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Hope you are having a wonderful day out there, a fantastic one. Hope that the sun is shining on you the way that you want it shining on you. Today we are listening to Wire. We're going to do a full album listen of their second studio album. We listened to their first, Pink Flag, and now we are just moving on to their next album, 1978's Chairs Missing. Why are we listening to this? Well, I enjoyed Pink Flag, and you guys had suggested that we continue on with some more albums from the band. This album had been suggested by at least the following: James Atkinson, Manhattan Man, Seren Cell by Bowen, Nordrognot, can't pronounce that, Mr. Crayer, ASXTC, Hugo Montoya, Chinard, Jason King, Boo1211 Boo, AK, you mentioned this one as well, I believe, Asmahizm, Noxious Rob, Ricky Spanish, I see you there as well, and the list goes on and on and on. Ooh, long list. Gizo, George, Sun, Altair. The list really does go on for quite a bit. Major Grubber. So thank you guys so much for the recommendation, of course, for the suggestion. Not an issue with me listening to more from Wire, so I am very, very happy to do so. I'm excited to dive into this. I've heard a lot about how they've continued to grow and expand after their debut album, so I'm curious to see where that expansion, where that progression has led them. And for today, it has led us here to this album. So I hope that you guys are doing well. Hope you're feeling good. Of course, as I pull up the album, go ahead and press that like button if you don't mind. If you'd like, you can support what I do on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. I need to turn one more light on. You can also go to buy me a coffee. If you have a song request and you don't want to take chances that I may get to it at some point, you go to the Buy Me a Coffee and pay for a song, sponsor a song reaction, if you will. That's it. Now that we've got all the plugs out the way, I'm just pulling up the album here so we can go ahead and give it a listen. And I think that made it a little brighter. Yeah, it should have helped a little bit. Let's go ahead and dive into it with the first track, which is going to be Practice Makes Perfect. And this sip, hold on, little ASMR. Oh, that's satisfying. This sip of moderately cold water goes to you. Scared me.
Practice makes perfect, yes, I can prove it. Business or pleasure, the more that you do it. Please dress in your best things. This course was unplanned, cause you see up in my bedroom I've got Sarah Bernard's hand.
Like the bass is left, crackling in class. This first track is really setting a scene.
Practice makes perfect, I've done this before. Never for money, always for love. Please dress in your best things and don't make girls
So synth?
fuss, cause you see up in my bedroom Sarah's waiting for us. 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 Waiting for us.
This is already a great, awesome track. It's like becoming claustrophobic. Okay, you guys weren't kidding. Just off the first track, we are in completely different territory than really anything off of Pink Flag. This is post-punky, almost with gothic undertones in some ways. Not like style, like a goth rock kind of track. Not like that. But like the stylings of this. There's something very claustrophobic about that middle buildup, which that buildup was incredibly done, building up with these dark turns, eventually laughter coming in. And before even getting to that part, I love the initial setup of the rhythm. Those sharp start kind of guitars and the bass playing coming in after, which would be isolated, was a really, really cool setup. Lead singer Colin Newman, I like how his vocals, as it progressed, became more erratic and more manic and crazed before eventually just yelling and screaming. This was such a bleakly interesting song. I thought this was so cool. I like how in one moment, when they have one of those bass isolated moments, you hear some, I don't know exactly what, but maybe some tapping on glass or some sort of clanking that's happening. And then, like I said, to me, that's one of the first moments that we're introduced to that kind of paranoia induced kind of scene that the song would eventually build up and expand upon. This was a really fantastic opening. Bass is going to be played by Graham Lewis, and I love that when the music drops out and it's just the bass left up, this staticky, distorted guitar, bap, 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 just like monotonously driving that nail home in there. This was really cool. And what I think is really interesting is that they don't have anyone in the band playing keyboards, but it's actually going to be their producer, Mike Thorne, who, if I click on his Wikipedia article, says that as a record producer, he's worked with a lot of people in many different genres as well. John Cale, Soft Cell, Nina Hagen, Laurie Anderson, Soft Machine. He's also done Tainted Love from Soft Cell. Like, he's been around, and he's who's providing the keys, the synths, and eventually it looks like some backing vocals again. And I gotta say, I love what he brings into just this track already. We're going places. We are definitely going places. Let's look at these lyrics. Practice makes perfect. Yes, I can prove it. Business or pleasure, the more that you do it. Please dress in your best things. This course was unplanned, because you see up here in my bedroom, I got Sarah Bernhardt's hand. Now, I have no idea who Sarah Bernhardt is. We'll look it up in a moment, as it's obviously some sort of cultural reference, I'm assuming. Practice makes perfect. I've done this before. Never for money, always for love. Please dress in your best things and don't make a fuss, because you see up in my bedroom, Sarah's waiting for us, waiting for us, waiting for us. And it just goes on from there. Now, let me click this so you guys can see. Sarah Bernhardt was a famous French stage actress of the late 19th and 20th centuries. Her hand was photographed and has attracted the interest of astrologers and chiromancers. If I remember correctly, a chiromancer is basically palm reading. But why was her hand so famous? What's the attraction? Is it because of like it being a photograph in that time? French stage actress. She's featured in some plays. Ross Stan called her the queen of the pose and the princess of the gesture. Praised her golden voice. Okay. Like I said, I've never heard of her, so I can't. I'm not quite sure why. Bernhardt in her famous coffin in which she sometimes slept or studied her roles? Now, if that's not method acting, I don't know what is. I mean, seems like a very interesting person. This is a Wikipedia article I would read in my own time. I love to read like random Wikipedia articles and just learn random things. So what? Okay. I mean, I understand, what's happening.
Oh my.
I just don't understand, perhaps.
My.
Well, maybe it's just saying they got a painting, I guess, artwork of Sarah Bernhardt's hand. So they're fancy. They're distinguished. This is very interesting. I'm already set to go through this album. I'm already set. Let's go ahead and listen to the next track here. Yeah, let's do the next one, and then some of the tracks are like a minute and so I'll probably put some together. But the next one's 2:30, so let's let it roll. French film blurred. What are they blurring? All the bits and pieces. It sounds so modern. That chunk. Some of the melody has like a pop punk feel, but this part is very like tense. Almost like a more rockier Beach Boys to an extent, the sound. That string sound is more anxious. The snare of the drums sounds haunting for some reason. Okay, I wanted to see if it was kind of going into the next track because of how quickly it ended with little space, but not exactly. French film blurred. Can I tell you, it almost seems like they're kind of breaking a fourth wall because half of this sounds like a kind of pop punky kind of sound. I mean, they're way ahead of their time for what they were doing in my ears. And it kind of sounds like a very pleasant kind of, riff, pleasant singing. It moves along very pleasant and kind of calmly delightful. But then there's the other side of this track, which is like kind of tense and brings in some sort of anxiety. I'm imagining that's probably going to be the producer kind of providing that kind of not shrieking, but sheer kind of cutting sound in here. And that's what induces this anxiety. So it feels like something blurred because the image should be clear, what we're hearing, that pleasant melody and the singing, but it's getting blurred by other sounds. And if that's what they're kind of accomplishing, I think it's really, really cool how they've done that. They're kind of breaking that fourth wall and taking the title of the track and really bringing that into focus. Well, I guess not exactly into focus.
Please clap.
Because it's blurred. But that was just really, really cool. And I know I said it during the song, but it's not that they sounded like the Beach Boys. That's not what I meant, literally. It's just the movement of the music, aside from that tense section and the tense music there, kind of had that kind of same sound to an extent, the same movement or melody or delight to it. It just had a similar kind of pathway. But that blurred part, those blurred lines were sure coming in, and it definitely gave it this weird dissonance, but a pleasurable dissonance because there's still the satisfying melody below that. This is turning out to be an interesting one. And I didn't understand your plea to live or the guy's wish to take or give. However, I was backing away. He fell and lay dead amongst the fireworks display. I feel like we've come in on the middle of this scene. It's not quite the way to say goodbyes. It's not quite the way to behave. Secured you in a concrete grave beneath a motorway. Is this a serial killer? Gold scissors cut the ribbon and set them loose. On the opening day, the vibrations will shake your bones. The body underneath the motorway there. I suppose that's the disadvantage of not speaking a second language. A second language, the problems of bad reception resulting in blurred perception. Was there a misunderstanding? Like, is this the tale that he's saying? There was a misunderstanding and then a murder occurred. They buried the body under a motorway, and hence they're talking about on the opening day, the cars and, drivers will be shaking your bones with vibrations. Now, is this based off of a French film? And this is the story of such? Let's look in the Wikipedia article. I haven't really looked at this here yet. I mean, there's not a ton of information. Says this is, of course, their second studio album using more developed song structures. It was met with widespread critical acclaim, hit number 48 in the UK singles or UK albums chart. Although it features some of the minimalistic punk rock of their debut, this also contains more developed song structure, taking cues from 70s prog, psychedelia, and art rock, keyboard and synth elements brought in by their producer, and a broader palette of emotional and intellectual subject matter. The title is said to be a British slang term for a mildly disturbed person, as in, that guy has a few chairs missing from his front room. Basically, the light's not all up on the attic, right? Or the light's not on in the attic. Of course, it was released through 1979. But nothing necessarily about the specific tracks or the meanings or anything like that. Of course, maybe besides the one that have their own Wikipedia articles. Either way, it's a really cool track and really interesting how they're definitely experimenting more in this album. I'm curious when it comes to their producer who they've worked with here. I didn't see anything when we were reading the history there. I would love to know if they liked the producer being involved and kind of giving them a different sound, or if they were kind of against it, because sometimes it can go either way when too much involvement, outside involvement is kind of done. I mean, so far, I'm liking what he brought to the table. Let's listen to the next track. We'll listen to the next two together since they'll about equal 3 minutes total. Another the Letter. Okay.
Oh, faint heart, when letter arrives, suddenly find things looking upside.
That was just... Got a more punk beat, what I would expect out of this one.
Sailing under a false flag, we're crossing the IDL, become an equation lives.
I think it's Harlem.
Lost like a curse, hopping on the waterline, a ship in the fence line, bumps in the engine road.
Lazy. It's a cool sound, a little flip flop. I'm loving all these not random sounds, but these sounds that are coming through in their music and give it a completely different color. Like, okay, in this one, obviously that's happening. The clip clop. The previous track is just like fast on the drums, fast on the rhythm, and the fast on the delivery of the vocals, which works with the lines in there and everything. This one's talking about a shipwreck. They're definitely like taking, like we read, more different direction in the themes that they're talking about. You know, taking definitely inspiration in that regard. But then the experimentation in the music, like this one, at least with Men Second, which now looking at the title, I get it. Looking at the lyrics there, like this one retains kind of that not punk atmosphere, that punk rhythm, the drums, the guitar, kind of keeps it in line in that regard. But still, it's the subtlety beneath it. It's the sound effects. It's the build up in this story, which is only 1 minute and 44 seconds, and yet we get a whole scene. We get the whole thing from beginning to end, from start to conclusion. I think that this is really, really cool. I love the bass playing in this one as well, specifically the bass being performed. So let me pull up their names once again, by Graham Lewis on here. Really enjoyed that. And the drumming from Robert Gotobed. Is that his actual last name? No, Robert Gray. Okay. But he's credited as Robert Gotobed. You remember, like, isn't it like in old times your last name would be like, you know, what your job was or your career, you know, Smith kind of thing. You were a Smith of something. My job is go to bed. Which for some, I guess it could still work as a job, but we don't need to talk about that, even though, as they say, practice does make perfect.
Please clap.
All right, let's look at these lyrics here. Let's go to the lyrics for Another the Letter. Pass to hand behind the curtain, the letter brings change, now things are uncertain. Hand to hand, the letter moves on like a series of shocks, And I like how as this part repeats, it's like someone's getting shocked, and so it's like repeating themselves, but the contents are known. Oh, faint heart, when the letter arrives, you suddenly find things looking life-size. Once the air rang with things unsaid, now cruel outlines are easily read. Behind the curtain in the yellow bulb light, the letter reads, I took my own life. Let me read about this. I saw that there was a little thing. This newling, I don't care what other people said. It's passed a hand behind the curtain. The letter brings change. Now things are uncertain. Like, this secret letter, when it was finally revealed, it says, I took my own life. And now it changed things. We're not going current events, but something of that nature. And the lyrics for Men the Second, like I said, this is clearly a shipwreck happening. Sailing under a false flag, we're crossing the IDL. Let's see what that is. International Dateline. Gotcha. Becalmed where no creature lives, lost, forsaken, cursed. Hold below the waterline, a shift in the Plimsoll line. Pumps in the engine room, women and children first. Where have we heard that before? Hysterical, no humor, sabotage, a rumor. Captainless, he's gone in one way or another. And captionless, injury, hunger, thirst. Reptile, prehensile, servile, editorial, gentile, fatal. I like how the way that they stick these words together represents a story and it represents a progression. That is, I mean, the whole thing does it incredibly well in such a short amount of time. But the ending is deadly. This is a really cool album. Are you guys having a good time so far? I'm having a good time so far. And this is the type of album that I have no idea what's going to come next. So let's find out. Let's listen to the next track, which is Marooned, and I ain't talking Pink Floyd. Oh, it kind of works off the back of the previous track. Hold on. Allow me. It barely started. Let's just see if it connects. Because, I mean, the title would. Let's see if musically it does. sounds so modern.
Diverting his attention, his feelings froze over. I'm only a runaway, AWOL, at the logical start. Not present in the present, overboard with limited future.
This does feel cold too.
And I'm standing alone, still getting a thrill while the ship is afloat. He's losing his boat.
Is this leading to the next track too? Sand in my joints, like he's gotten to an island? I don't know, but let me talk about it. Okay. I love this very cold, makes sense with the lyrics, this cold atmosphere that they have, that they've created here. And the like monotonous, it sounds good, but like the monotonous droning on of the bass and the way the guitar comes in, adding to that atmosphere. Bum, 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 bum. Because you can imagine after the shipwreck, someone just floating on an iceberg, and what do they do now? And the music captures that. It's cold. The atmosphere is really cool how they make that feel so cold and stark. And then the bass and, like I said, the guitar kind of drift along in their monotony, just trying to figure out what's next in the plan. The way that Colin sings here, he's numb, probably from cold, at least emulating that, and just kind of like, like, what do I do now? Describing his feelings, his last words that perhaps no one will ever hear. This is really, really awesome. This was a really great track, and I mean, it has to have been basically a continuation from the previous one. An unwilling sailor adrift from Arctic waters. I mean, as the water gets warmer, my iceberg gets smaller. So he either stays in the cold area, or obviously he'll die that way, or if he wants to get to warmer water, his iceberg that's keeping him alive, so it slowly melts away. As he pours more petrol on, he feels no fear. As the flames get nearer, his thoughts get clearer. He's making his own little fireplace. A blue-white polar bear arrives at the end, diverting his attention. His feelings froze over. I'm only a runaway AWOL at the logical start. I love that, because AWOL, absent without leave or a letter or something. And he's at the logical start. He's at the absent part. Not present in the present, overboard with limited future. Obviously, his time is limited. And he may be present, but maybe his mind's not there because he's near the brink of death as he's freezing. And I'm standing alone, still getting a thrill. While the ship is afloat, he's losing his boats. While the ship is afloat, he's losing his boats. I'm standing alone, getting a thrill. I wonder what the last line means. Let me click this real quick. His belt is... Okay, I knew while the ship is afloat. But the ship is sinking, like the one he came from. I kind of understood he was losing his mind from the previous lyrics. But what ship is afloat? Oh, like his iceberg. Like, maybe? I view this not like what he was saying here about his boat melting. I view this as his ship is his iceberg that he's sitting on, trying to survive. And while that's currently floating, he's losing his boat, he's losing his chairs, he's losing his mind. That's how I view that. That's how I read it. Next track, Sand in My Joints. I don't know if this one will continue on the story thematically, but let's find out. There's that punk. There it is. Yeah. landfill. I like how that leads into the main riff. Scratchy solo. Oh, that's the guitar with him, huh? There's a chant. Okay, now at this point, 6 songs in, this is like what I would expect when I first got into Wire. This is what I expect from like Pink Flag. This is just straightforward, just a punk track. That's all it is. I love how Go to Bed sneaks that little double snare roll into it at the end of each measure. I like how he sneaks that in there just a little bit. It's like it almost throws it off the way he does it, but it doesn't. No, he hits it very quick and then he's out of there. This one is listen, it's a good punk track. It's not doing anything new. It's not like the previous tracks where I'm like surprised. This is just like, okay, this is a good punk track. This is kind of where we're back into. I do like how the little, at first, the snare roll kind of led it into that chorus riff off of the verse. This is just a quick punk track. This is one where, like I said, I don't have a lot to say. Sounds good. Like the snare roll. Riffs are nice. I like how the chants come at the very end, as you would expect. This is like getting back to their roots. Or in this case, the sand. I've got sand in my joints. I'm counting the grains. And they're so sharp, I'm feeling the pain. I'm like King Canute's daughter, a lamb to the slaughter. My feet in the water, it's not what they think. It's not what it seems. So what is this sand in his joints? Is he just getting old? Feeling some arthritis pains? And he just repeats verse there, and I'm feeling the pain, I'm feeling the pain. King Canute's daughter, let's read that. Gunhild of Denmark is the only daughter of King Canute. Okay, but why is he like that? King Canute's daughter. Why? What makes him feel that way? He says it was the second song written by the band after Pink Flag. It was completed shortly after I Feel Mysterious Today. Both tracks illustrate the band's desire to evolve their sound and take a more nuanced approach to songwriting, while still sharing many basic characteristics with material on Pink Flag. Yeah, this sounds exactly what I would expect after Pink Flag. The first few tracks are not what I was expecting, and I like the direction those are taken. Let's see where it goes from here. Next track. These are quick, just in and out ones. Being Sucked In Again. I'm glad the in was there. Here we go. See? It's gonna be a Tangerine Dream opening. Little slower riff. Oh, that lightened up. What's that effect on his bass? Catchy kind of chorus there, in a way. I like how the bass works with that, the synth. I love that grimy guitar tone. I like how they repeat the rhythm of the melody there in the chorus. It's such a, not awkward, but the chorus is such a stilted, quick hit kind of chorus. Not like a da 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 da, like not like a sing-songy kind of chorus. It's just being sucked, being shocked, being shocked, and again. It's just, I like it though. It's catchy in a mechanical kind of way more than anything. The opening of this track with its super, super deep, distorted guitar. I love how dark it made the atmosphere seem. And then, of course, the looming ambience beneath with the synths. And then it kind of like bounced off like nothing had happened. It revisited that later on. But I like how it's almost like they took that darkness and threw it away for a moment. Give it something kind of bouncy before later on reintroducing it. The bass from Graham Lewis. I don't know what the effect is called that he's playing with on the bass. Maybe that's like flanger or something. I don't know. But either way, I like how the effect on his bass works in lieu with Mike Thorne's ambience that he's kind of brewing as well. Those two things together kind of really produce this dark, hear me out, wet kind of sound that, I don't know, there's a humidity to their atmosphere, both of them together, and the way that they play. And I think it comes across really, really nicely and builds something very interesting there for, of course, Colin and the guitar to eventually kind of jump off of and jump onto. I'm loving the atmosphere that he brings in here, really. A dorsal fin break. Is this, once again, kind of coming off of the previous track? Well, before it was a polar bear. Is there now a killer whale in here? A dorsal fin breaks the water. Salted meat, a sudden relapse. Inference drawn from every word. Being sucked in again. Feeling numbed from anesthetized flesh. Avoid disgrace, idea still fresh. The gaping mouth, a fishwife's dream. Being sucked in again. Bound and gagged, your labor saved. The cost minute, the rules are waived. No hand, no step, your labor's in vain. Like, no matter what you do, you're being sucked in again. My question is, being sucked into what? A dorsal fin breaks the water, salted meat, a sudden relapse. I'm going to click these because let me look. The song deals in themes of exploitation and alienation and labor with the helpless image of being sucked into that situation over again. You're getting a lot of minuses here, so that may not be true, or at least what the song is hinting towards. The album cover all contains a lot of themes of water in the ocean, on men second to shipwrecks, and Marooned, one of his passengers stranded along. So maybe not literally this continues on, but maybe in certain ways. I don't know. Salted meat, a sudden relapse, might refer back to our beloved sailor. His body has become salty from seawater, and he's back to be a snack for a dorsal fin. So maybe this is about that then. Avoid disgrace, idea still fresh. The gaping mouth, the fishwife's dream. But here's where I get lost. Could refer to a shark's mouth, just as the sailor is about to be eaten. A fishwife's dream. The wife of a fisherman, they were known to be very foul-mouthed. Later, it also got a connotation with prostitution, often being popular in harbor districts. Okay. I can definitely see how this in reading that information, continues the previous theme and story. But I start to lose it. I start to lose it a little bit around here. I start to lose it. The song is still cool, no matter what, even if I don't know exactly what we're talking about. Heartbeat is the next one. I mean, that would maybe just make sense. He's maybe counting out his heartbeat. His heartbeat's slowing down. Just quietly coming in. Slowly coming in that drum.
I feel I see. I feel cold.
Yeah, this is definitely continuing on then.
I feel lost. Is there something new behind me? I'm so blind. I'm so blind. I'm so blind.
This almost sounds like it could jump off like into something Nirvana-esque.
I'm so blind. I'm so blind. I feel empty.
All those sounds are way in the back. The drum hit like his heartbeat. I mean, the heartbeat stopped just a few seconds before the next track, so I think he's hearing the sound of his heartbeat, and he hears it beat for one last time. Can I just say really quick that in this record, I think it's really cool how the band has like incorporated this story and this concept in a lot of the songs in this first half of it. I think that that's really cool how they've, not maybe, I don't know, I don't think so. I don't think they've dedicated the whole album into the concept or the story, but I do like how they've taken like a lot of tracks here and just told this sequential and progressing story. And I think, unless the next track, Mercy, continues it on, I think we may have heard the last from our sailor. And I love how this is just so quiet. There's no explosions. There's no big riffs. Nothing like that. This is just quiet. The whole time I felt like it was going to explode into something. And it never did. It went out in a whisper. There was a moment of vitality. There was a moment of life as he begins to repeat that he can feel he says he's mesmerized by his own beat like a heartbeat. And of course, the drums little by little by little by little, pumping just a little bit more. But then it doesn't last too long. And that strong heartbeat begins to weaken and eventually fade away once again. But I like how in his last moments, seemingly in his last moments, he gets that last push, that last little spike, and then it's all downhill from there. And even in the verse, you could hear extra sounds way in the distance. And I like how, to me at least, that represents those last few moments of life, the last bit of strength that he's really trying to hold on to. And it's there. He's not gone yet. And of course, we have that last moment where he says, okay, I'm feeling my own heartbeat. I hear it. And even though there's that last ditch effort of strength, it eventually just goes away, and that's it. But I really like how that was done, because I could hear barely those pieces of music in the back, but it just wasn't strong enough. I feel icy. I feel cold. I feel old. Is there something behind me? Yeah, the big old fish. I'm sublime. I'm sublime. I feel empty. I feel dark. I remark. I am mesmerized by my own beat, like a heartbeat. And then he says, in its own beat, like a heartbeat. And of course, that's the end. That's it. Like I said, unless there's some miracle coming up in the next track, Mercy, maybe someone rescues him at the last second. But, or maybe they rescued him too late. But I just think that is so cool how they've really put that all together in this story. And I was not expecting any sort of story at this point. Let me see. I want to check something really quick. Actually, okay. So this actually does end this side of the album. That is really cool. So really, all these tracks here were dedicated to this story, basically. I just think that that's so cool. So I would assume, I don't know, I would assume that this is the end of the story, because we're moving on to the second side of the album. But once again, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know for sure, but we'll find out. Surely. How many more times can I say sure? I guess he never made it to shore.
Please clap.
And with that, let us move into the next track, which is Mercy. Oh, mercy, mercy me. Hey! It's a cool bend. That's a groovy riff there. It's very frizzy. There's your explosion. Okay, tapped it out. why I just counted out on the hi-hat.
Walls in pastel blue, clinical white. Slash grey lipstick. Mercy,
I like how that bass line cooled things down. The guitar is still like in its throes of destruction. This could be almost krautrock rock if you just take this section.
seems like unwear stockings. In a breaking sunlight. With a 4 a.m. double.
That's a great yell.
A midnight take night.
And they count it back down again. It's like doubling. One last one. As this begins the second side of the album, I feel like this is almost them making a statement because this is the longest track on the album at 5 minutes 46 seconds, and it's at least at this point the biggest when it comes to just kind of being straight rock and roll. This is the biggest when it comes to just being a big punk sound. And it's the longest. This one has the most guitar. No extra accoutrement or sounds from mic or anything like that. This one's just straight to the cranium when it comes to it. And I like how there's still those subtle buildups and everything. I like how the verse is still subtle. The guitar, dunk, 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 dunk. Before those big explosions led by the drums, I really enjoyed those big explosions. It's like just cannon fire out of nowhere. And the break was really nice when we got into the marching pattern with the drums, and then the bass was allowed to lead everything. I really like how that happened, and then everything else kind of marched around the bass groove as it broke that specific break. I really enjoyed that. And once again, Colin, we got it from the first track and that build up and at the very end, but in this track as well, when you get into those louder moments, he really gives it that throaty kind of yell, that throaty, and there's another word, not primal, but there's another word I can't think of right now, but that yell. And I think it sounds so good when he does that. And it shows the range and how he's using it here from, of course, the more subtle tracks that we've heard into something loud and rockin' like this one. I do not know what it's about. Crooks lay in a weighted state, waiting for the dead assassin, while the rust pure powder puffs a shimmering opaque red. Papers spread, no one driving, we hurled direct ahead. The windows dark green tinted, a hearse, a taxi instead. I mean, a hearse is a taxi for the dead, so I suppose. There should be a taxi. Do you guys think that there's a hearse company called Sharon? Like Sharon vehicles or Sharon cars? That You can't tell me that's not done somewhere. Snowstorms forecast imminently in areas Dogger, Viking, Moray, Forth, and Orkney. Keeping cover in denuded scrub, the school destroyed raised the club. Panic spreading with threat of fire, crowding beneath a layer of foam. Refugees intertwined alone. So there's a snowstorm happening. The school's destroyed. Panic spreading with threat of fire. Like there's different natural disasters happening. Within the institution walls in pastel blue, clinical white, slashed red lipstick walls, mercy nurse tonight. Seems like dark gray stockings in the raking torchlight, with a 4 a.m. stubble, a midnight transvestite. Moray, Forth, Orkney. I have zero idea what this song is about. Like, actually zero. Before injecting the heroin? Okay. A shimmering opaque red, like a flame. Okay, so that's that. Snowstorms, the cold and iciness in the previous songs. Are we still on the previous tracks? These are regions given in the UK shipping forecast, contributing further to the nautical theme strewn throughout the lyrics in the album. I don't know. I don't even know. And I'm not going to rack my brain trying to keep figuring it out. Let's move on to the next track, which is Outdoor Miner. Here we go.
No blind spots in the leopard's eyes.
That's nice.
Can only help to jeopardize the lives of lambs. The shepherd cries.
This is like so.
An outdoor life for a silverfish. Eternal dust, less ticklish than the clean room. A house guest way.
That's catchy.
He lies on his side as he tries to hide. In fact, it's the earth which is nonsense birth. He lies on his side as he tries to hide. In fact, it's the earth which is nonsense birth.
This is like the most poppy,
Space worker,
straightforward track.
Miner, a roof falls, an underliner of leaf structure, the egg timer.
I still don't know what's happening.
He lies on his side as he tries to hide. In fact, it's the earth which is nonsense birth. He lies on his side as he tries to hide. In fact, it's the earth which is nonsense birth. He lies on his side as he tries to hide. In fact, it's the earth which is nonsense birth. He lies on his side as he tries to hide. In fact, it's the earth which is nonsense birth. He lies on his side as he tries to hide.
This is the most like poppy, pleasant, straightforward song. And it's funny, in an album that sounds completely different than their previous one, this is the one that seems like the outlier. This is the one that seems like the odd one out. The other tracks where they've been progressing doing different things have still fit in with their style somehow. This one is like, it doesn't even sound like the band, to be honest. It sounds like a completely different band. It doesn't sound bad. It's just, you're probably not listening to Wire for this track. You know, like it sounds like, I don't know, like a radio-friendly, sweet pop track. Even the harmonies, the way the Colin's singing, it all just comes across that way. Once again, they're doing a good job of putting down some palatable pop, but it is odd. It does sound odd. Let's look at these lyrics here. No blind spots in the leopard's eyes can only help to jeopardize the lives of lambs, the shepherd cries. I just ran into my thing, sorry. An outdoor life for the silverfish, eternal dust less ticklish than the clean room a house guest wish. He lies on his side as he trying to hide. In fact, it's the earth which he's known since birth. Face worker, a serpentine miner, a roof falls an underliner. On leaf structure, the egg timer. Is he a miner? Like, yeah, obviously from the title. And the mine has collapsed on him, and hence why he's lying on his side. And it's the earth which he's known on since birth. The earth is hiding him. The earth is covering him because the mine collapsed. and it just repeats from there. There is a Wikipedia article for this one, quite a lengthy one as well. It was released as the band's fourth single and appeared on their second album, of course, this one. The song is based on Lewis's fascination with the serpentine leaf miner insect. Looks like a caterpillar to me. I've never seen this, though. Serpentine leaf miner. Can we get some more pictures of this thing? Oh, okay. So there's, okay. That's kind of interesting. I see the fascination, and details the life of the insect. Okay, so that's what the lyrics are about. Where did I put those lyrics? He lies on his side as he's trying to hide. Okay, the egg timer, leaf structure. Okay, all right. EMI recognized that the song could potentially be a hit single, but were concerned it was too short. Measuring only 1 minute and 45 seconds. Unusually, the record label asked the group to make a longer version. They added an additional verse and chorus plus a piano solo played by Thorne, pushing it to 2:51. They were confident that it could be a hit, but that's not what we just listened to. We listened to the minute 44 version. The single soon entered the charts at number 51. BBC asked the band to appear on their Top of the Pops if the single continued to rise. It was one of the few opportunities for acts to promote their work on national television. However, the British Market Research Bureau, who compiled the UK singles chart, claimed that there was an attempt to rig the chart by EMI personnel buying multiple copies of the single in chart return shops. Although they denied any attempts at rigging the charts, that week's sales were not included. Despite selling twice as many copies as the previous week, their sales weren't included, and subsequently, the single dropped down the chart, and their chance to appear on the Top of the Pops disappeared, along with a chance to reach a wider audience. Well, that hurt. Reviewing the single, Charles, I don't care what other people say. There's some cover versions as well. But yeah, there you go. Now, was it true? Was there any sort of finagling or tampering? Don't know. At least not according to what we just read. But they looked over and said, nope. We think we see what you're doing there. That ain't happening. Next track here, I Am the Fly, which they're continuing. We just read about the serpentine, whatever the green leaf thing was called, and we saw that it metamorphosized into a fly. That's a really cool sound. It's a really cool sound.
Glass screen to reject my chosen target, but there's an air pellet hole I can go through to you. I am the fly in the ointment. I can spread more disease than the fleas which nibble away at your window display.
This is cool. I like that time signature change.
Yes, I am the fly in the ointment. I'll shake you down to say please as you accept the next dose of disease. I am the fly, I am the fly, I am the
okay,
fly,
this is the
I
one.
am the fly in the ointment. I am the fly, I am the fly, I am the fly, I am the fly, fly in the ointment.
This is the one. That's so good.
I am the fly, fly in the ointment. Yes, I am the fly, I am the
guitar tone. Yeah, that's one of my favorites on the album. Okay, with Outdoor Miner, they were talking about it being a single and everything, right? And it sounds completely different, but it kind of works. The same way that it's talking about that worm thing, the same way that it's talking about that, and of course that evolves and changes into The Fly, this takes this, like, it's still a verse, chorus, pleasant to listen to, easily appeal, in my opinion, to like a radio single. It changes the Outdoor Miner and changes it into I Am the Fly, and it expands upon it. It's not only 1 minute and 44 seconds, it's a full 3-minute track. This is really, really cool, and we're still doing the progress thing as well. Okay, you cannot tell me that like a fly buzzing around you and you're trying to swat at it, you cannot tell me that this chorus will not stay in your mind. I am the fly, I am the fly, I am the fly, I am the ointment, or whatever. Okay. I love it. I love the bounciness of the singing, the bass when the rest of the band joins in, singing along. That guitar tone. I don't know what he's doing on the guitar. I couldn't tell you. There's probably some pedals involved and an amp or two. And it almost has like this immediate echo or reverb kind of sound with some other sort of phaser or flanger or some sort of effect on it that's like making it kind of buzzy. Yeah, that sounds really cool. This sounds like something that like XTC would come up with, like a pop song, but with intelligence, you know? Intellipop. That kind of sounds like it would work, actually. Whatever it is, they got it. Crawling over your window, you think I'm confused. I'm waiting for the divergent wasp to complete my current ruse. Use a plate glass screen to protect my chosen target, but there's an air pellet hole I can crawl through to you. I am the fly in the ointment. I can spread more disease than the fleas, which nibble away at your window display. Yes, I'm the fly in the ointment. I shake you down to say please as you accept the next dose of disease. And of course, the lyrics just repeat from there. I think that is so cool. I think that's a great song. I've never seen the movie The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. Don't even know what it's about, really. I think it's just a guy turning into a fly, which sounds interesting, but yeah. This would be a song to feature in that movie. And if it wasn't, that's a missed opportunity. Let's move into the next track, which is I Feel Mysterious Today. There's your mysteriousness right there.
Always cause for concern. Always. When you're feeling quite bright. And your filament burns. I feel mysterious today. Everything is humming loudly. I feel mysterious today. Everyone is coming this way. Is it ever appealing?
I love the playing on this.
Observe the tension grow. I feel mysterious today. Everything is humming loudly. I feel mysterious today. Everyone is coming this way. Going walking abroad. Minus happy for dawn. Bats in profusion there. I feel mysterious today. Everything is humming loudly. I feel mysterious today. Everyone is coming my way.
There's that humming.
Did you ever conceive that you two can leave exactly when you like?
This was one of those, I hate to say the pun, or not the pun, but just say, this is one of those mysterious tracks in the album. It's only a little bit over a minute long, and it just has that atmosphere. I like how it's once again kind of, to me, calling back to the atmosphere of the first track on the album and that increasingly paranoia, claustrophobic kind of situation, and especially the way that at the very end it snaps. There's that guitar tone, which once again, I don't know how he's doing it, but it's big. It throngs out, it rings out, and it has this muddled, heavy, distorted sound to it as well. I love the little bit of like playing on like the hi-hats or the cymbals that he's doing there as well with Mr. Go to Bed. And it really is just another dark, subtle buildup of a track that just kind of, to me, fills out the album. Not in a bad way, not in a bad word filler way, actually more so in a good way filler way. It just brings about that kind of obtuse sound to the album, which has clearly been very much in bed with. Always cause for concern, and I love the little bits of like monotone kind of flaccid wording that comes in. Always, quite, grow. Always cause for concern when you're feeling quite bright and your filament burns. I feel mysterious today. Everything is humming loudly. I feel mysterious today. Everyone is coming this way. Is it ever appealing to stand on a ceiling? Observe the tension grow. I feel mysterious today. Everything is humming loudly. Going walking abroad, minus hat, walk, or before dawn, bats in profusion there. And they've preached the chorus, did you ever conceive that you too can leave exactly when you like? Like you don't have to stay here. And I like how he mentions, of course, the humming, everything's humming today. And as it moves forward from this chorus onwards, that humming becomes increasingly loud and distressing. However, when it comes to what's happening, I got no idea about the lyrics. From the Nursery, which is the next room over. Here we go. They're marching into that one. Christmas toy? They're used to that crash. Little sounds around.
To your home.
Okay. From the Nursery, I like the little effects of like the cooing. I think it's really just the band doing the cooing and everything, right? And this was another one of those more straightforward kind of rock songs from the band. Okay, you want to know something funny? This is a track that I would actually consider filler. I think it's fine. I don't find anything really memorable about it. And I actually would consider this more filler than the previous track like I Feel Mysterious Today. Because like I said, I feel like tracks like I Feel Mysterious Today are kind of adding to the overall, I don't know, like not plot of the album. There's a word that I'm specifically thinking. They're adding to like the theme, the overall sound of the album, and the mood it's trying to set, and the concepts it's trying to portray and provide. This from the Nursery is just like, it's fine. It's like a whatever track. This to me is like a clear throwaway track. I don't hate it. I don't like. It sounds like I do. I don't have anything against it. It doesn't sound bad. It just sounds like something that clearly kind of comes in one ear and out the other. You know, I think it's like completely fine. This is a track that, to me, needs some of those touches, those experimentations, those you know, things like that. It needs a little bit more on this one. This one I'm not feeling much from it. The lyrics are fine. So truly jolly at Xmas Dolly. I talk on request. I'm never depressed. I'll wink a good time till someone pokes me. One big blue eye out. So simply heady, a birthday teddy. Punches make me bleat. This bare soul is sweet. Keeping you warm at night till someone rubs me. Hey, a fun-filled toy, a fun-filled toy. Free on a tightrope lives the animal soap. Safe, used, been tested, body molester. Amphibious, what a weird way to talk about body soap. Amphibious charm, scum in several baths, has blurred my features. I like how all these different things are, you know, toys or things for a kid, and kind of taking it and giving it this. It's definitely an interesting way of writing about it. Oh, would you like to say what that silence was meant to intend? Oh, would you like to see what violence these eyes can send? To your heart from the nursery, to your heart from the nursery. Like what violence can be inflicted by the child onto these different items. You guys, listen, this has nothing to do with the video. You want to see a picture of the nursery? I'll go take a picture of the nursery and I'll show you real quick. Why not? You guys are here. Usually I do these things halfway through the video. Let me take a quick picture for it and I'll show you. You can see what it looks like. I'm not taking multiple pictures. I just took one picture. I just took one quick picture, just snapped it so you can kind of see. There's part of it. There's part of it. You can kind of see a little bit. So, yeah. When this video comes out, it'll be like, I don't know, less than a month before my my wife's due date. But right now, I'm trying to record ahead, obviously, so that, you know, like, make sure I get some long song Saturdays going for you guys. All right, let's move on to the next track from the Nursery into Used To. I like that thick but subdued riff there.
Does the pain remain when the head is turned and the body walks away? You used to know. Does nausea ensue when you chance upon a memory of someone you used to know? Does warmth increase when the pulse is strong, but the response is weak? You used to know. I just lay down guidelines in front of me.
I like how this has a sweet melancholy to it.
Similar to the things you do to me. Does the pain remain when the head is turned and the body walks away? You used to know. Does nausea ensue when you chance upon a memory of someone you used to know? Does warmth increase when the pulse is strong, but the response is weak? You used to know. I'll give you an example. Typically, it's less complicated than it simply should be.
I really like the atmosphere in this one. end here. It's a long fade in on this one, huh? Just like the title of the song is Used To, this sounds like something looking back nostalgically and kind of having a lot of melancholic thoughts about it. It feels like looking back and seeing something and be like, used to. Even that phrase implies to me like looking back at something. And I think that comes across really nicely. I love how through the subtlety of Thorne's inclusion here and those keys, as it rises near the end, underneath the guitar, it comes across really, really nice and kind of blissfully looking back, like, oh yeah, like happy memories. A little melancholy because those times will never be experienced again, but a happiness that they were experienced. And I really like the kind of quiet way that Colin sings in tracks like these, because to me, it has a nice sincerity to it. It has a nice human aspect. It's very quiet in the mic, and I like that. I like that kind of intimate aspect in the way he sings here. And I like how Thorne's inclusion in this track, at least from what I could kind of hear, was very, very subtle. More so appearing in the final third of this track as those keys kind of grew a little bit, that ambience there. I really like how he took a much more subtle approach on this particular track. Let's look at these lyrics, though. Does the pain remain when the head is turned? Like even if you're not looking at whatever's causing you pain, perhaps. And the body walks away. You used to know. Does nausea ensue when you chance upon a memory of someone you used to know? Does warmth increase when the pulse is strong, but the response is weak? You used to know. Like they don't know anymore, obviously. I just laid down guidelines in front of me. It's similar to the things that you do to me. That feels like a harsh line. That feels like a harsh line. And it repeats, of course, this part again, the chorus. I'll give you an example. Typically, it's less complicated than it simply should be. Whatever's happening here, there's a rift between at least two parties involved. And he's basically saying it shouldn't be this complicated. You used to know things, you used to feel things, but now it doesn't seem like you do. And it doesn't feel like you are. But the details and the specifics, I don't know. Let's listen to the final track on the album, which may relate to this one. This one was Used To, and the next one is Too Late. I feel like those both, just the phrases imply, like time, of course, used to, and now it's too late. I feel like they both imply, just based off of that. But let's find out by listening to it. We're back to it. Back to that guitar. I love the bass line beneath them. Another repetitive and catchy chorus. Yes, it is. other riff kind of swept in. Speeding up, so he's trying to cover that time. See when he gets into that yell? So cool. Getting a change. And that, ladies and gentlemen, ends our album listen of Chairs Missing by Wire. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. They decided not to end with a whisper like with used to. They said, no, let's go out with some punk bang to it. And punk bang we got. I like this song a lot in that it's catchy in its own way. With the Too Late being the ending. I wouldn't even say chorus. It's just how it ends. But it is kind of catchy with the way that he just repeatedly kind of rattles that off. I like the composition within this track because this feels like a punk song. It has those same things that you would expect out of it, but there's a few things that kind of separate it from the rest while not necessarily being like the other tracks on the album, which of course I really enjoyed. But I like how this one takes it back to their punk roots, but expands upon some of the little bits and structures of it, the way it ends even, the way it speeds up at the end, trying to catch up to itself, and then kind of atmospherically drops out. The guitar playing in the very middle of it. I love the bass playing in this one as well. And of course, we get Colin returning to that punky, throaty, gargly kind of yell at the very end, which is just a nice way to send it off. This is, like, to me, the biggest and perhaps the best punk track on the album. And I think they ended quite nicely with the bang. I need to figure out my Wire thing. I need to just do something with that. It gets annoying very quickly. Let's look at these lyrics. Oh, you should miss her. She says she's my sister. She's never hard to find. She's tender, trusting. She's everlasting. Can I change my mind? Is it too late to change my mind? Mirror, mirror, icy sister, love is never blind. She's slowly turning, mouth gently burning. Can I change my mind? Is it too late? She pisses icy water on poetic mornings. Got to be cruel to be kind. Is this real life? Is it for life? Can I change my mind? Is it too late to change my mind? Is it too late to change my mind? Does he just not like his sister? And he says that she's cold. She's cold and icy, and she's not. He just. I think he just doesn't like his sister. Maybe. And can he change his mind and like return her? I think that's what the song's about. I think. That's what I'm assuming. I think he just doesn't like his sister. I don't know. But regardless, I enjoyed this song. I really was very surprised at how like progressive this was. You guys, of course, called it. But I was very, very surprised at how progressive it was in the atmosphere, the inclusion of the keyboards from the producer especially. It wasn't like they added a new member into the band. It was just him taking over those duties. And I'm still really curious, like, Did the band invite this? Did Thorne himself say, hey, I think we should do this? I'm just really curious as to how that exactly happened. In that regard. Thinking about my favorite tracks and everything, I really think that the first half of this album is my favorite, especially with what I'll say is the I don't know what's the best way to put it, the shipwreck story that happens in most of the tracks on that particular section. And then on the second half, I mean, I gotta give it to I Am the Fly. That just hits all the right notes to me. I think that's just a sensational piece of music. But this was a really fun album to listen to, and I enjoyed it. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please, of course, and as always, press that like button. Go ahead if you don't mind. You can support what I do on Patreon if you're interested. On the Buy Me a Coffee, you can skip the line of song requests and such. But hey, hope that you enjoyed this Long Song Saturday. Please, and as always, come back tomorrow. And that's it. I'm going to go eat something. I'm getting a little hungry.